Good morning. Happy New Year. I got to be honest with you, I'm happy for 2024. I'm happy to see it because 2023 is gone and it's got to be better. We've got a number of things to discuss. I'm going to do a really quick update and then we're going to talk a little bit about ad valorem. I know that's the annual thing that we have to do. Yes, we're required to do that, but I'm going to send out some more information and try to hopefully clarify things. We're required to do ad valorem, and because of that, you're required to do ad valorem. It is a board policy that should you decide not to participate in ad valorem, that you will get an assessment of $1,000 on your bill. It's not my policy, it's not administration policy, it is a board policy. And when I start showing you some of the numbers and start showing you some of the things that are going on, I think that'll provide a little bit clarity. Let's move. As you know, if you have questions, please feel free to email them, jkvlive@johnknox.com. Those go to Shannon. Shannon sends those to me in advance, and I try to put those into my presentation. If you have calls, that's why Joy is in the back. That is 386-456-1558, and text messages at 386-507-4236. I'm just going to make an appeal. We would really like to see more of you in the auditorium than are currently here. So instead of watching on TV, you can come participate with us. VAL, the Village Alert Line, I always put this on here. The reason I put the VAL, and I know you're getting tired of saying it, it is for residents that move in. They have no idea. This might be the first presentation that they're seeing. And what is VAL and what does that mean? They may have not seen it, they may have not heard it, or they may have come across. It's the Village Alert Line. It's normally either Shannon or Candace's voice coming over and giving you an update, whether we have a broken water line or power is out on a certain area of the village, whatever that may be. Hurricanes. Administration. I'm going to tell you, I started doing something a little bit different. Each department is required to send me just a really quick update. I'll select the slides to be able to put in my presentation, so it's not just me, it's some of the managers and directors also sharing with you kind of what's going on. The annual residency certifications for ad valorem part 1, those are due. Guess what? There's another slide to make sure that you know. They are due the 26th, which is Friday, the 26th. A reminder that photocopy increase was effective January 1. The Red Cap program, everybody knows what the Red Cap program is. Resident emergency documents. It goes in a clear tube. There are caps on the end. Those in case something happens to you, you have paramedics in your particular unit. All they have to do is grab that tube, and all the papers they need are in that tube. It makes it easy on us. It makes it easy on you. Makes it easy on us, because when is it going to happen? It's going to happen at night, in the middle of the night, and we may not have staff that can get those copies out to medical personnel. Comment cards and out of village cards. Hard copies are located at the information desk in the Commons building. Should you not use the portal, a resident directory, if you like a hard copy of the resident directory, that is now available. And guest units, check in at the main receptionist between 9:30 and 4:30. We ask for those times because that's when we have somebody there. After that time, if somebody is running late and we don't know that, they're not going to get the key to the guest unit. Ad valorem residency. We have many people have responded, so we want to thank you. They've completed the residency certification. Deadline is Friday the 26th. We're required to do that. If you didn't get a form or you misplaced the form, please go to the main receptionist. We'll provide you with another copy of the form so you can complete that. Clinical services, home health. Home health is preparing for an ACA survey. ACA is brief for Agency for Healthcare Administration. They're contracted with CMS. I know, a lot of acronyms. Centers for Medicare Medicaid Services. And what they do is they come out and they do the federal portion of a survey, whether it is home health, whether it is Majestic Oaks skilled nursing, and that is required for certification. Home health, since we do have Medicare coverage, we do provide Medicare coverage, that is a certification that we go through, and we're preparing for that visit. In December, home health made 780 visits in the village. That's pretty good. Outpatient therapy is working on developing a fall prevention education series. Why would we be doing that? Okay, you got it. There are a number of you that are falling. You're not telling us, and you've probably fallen a half a dozen times, and then that next time you fall, you're injured. Tell us the first time. Let us know. There are many interventions that we can provide and we can help you with. And let me be clear about this, because I've gotten on this soapbox before, and I'm going to take 30 seconds. No, I don't want you down at Majestic Oaks. And I'll be clear why I don't want you down at Majestic Oaks. That is the most expensive level of care that we have. I have done, I guess you could consider myself, I would consider myself a long-term care expert. My first job out of college was working in a skilled nursing facility. I've done it for my entire adult life. I'll tell you that it's a service that's needed for people who absolutely positively need it. I myself don't want to go. So I understand your sentiment and I understand your feelings. I'm good with that. I don't want you there either. But if you're falling and you continue to fall, guess where you're going to end up? What is the phrase? An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you've fallen, let us know. There's medication assessments. We can assess your balance. We can do a full variety of things to help you and stop you from falling. Is that a fair? That's your part. Our part is we're going to do a fall prevention series. Attend if you've fallen. We don't care if you've fallen or you haven't fallen. If you attend, we're not going to say, hey, they've fallen previously. No, we're putting this out for education for you to make you better. You know what's one of the worst accidents that can happen in an older adult? A fall. Because as it's going on, you feel completely helpless. You change your gait, you change the way you do things, you try to compensate, and we know all that. You're not going to tell us anything that we don't know. We've seen it for years. I will get off my soapbox now. All right, December, we had 28 physical therapy, 4 occupational therapy, and 2 speech therapy clients. Advanced practice registered nurse. Everybody understand it? That used to be some ARNP. It's APRN now. We have now requested it's called an NPI. We call it an NPI. It's a National Provider Identifier, which allows us to add different insurance carriers and different options. So if you go see Martha, you can get covered and we can get paid. I think it's a pretty good deal. You get coverage, get the care, either you're not, we get paid. So that was one of the things we were using an NPI number from Majestic Oaks, and we've decided that we're going to go ahead and apply for another one. So that would cover the physician's office or the clinic, if you will. Support opportunities, Parkinson's, the first Thursday of the month at 2 p.m. Grief support, second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. Caregiver support, get the hint. At 2 p.m. is a very popular time. So you just pick which one you want. Visually impaired support interested meeting is January 22nd at 2 p.m. If there's other things that you want, if there's other groups that you want to be involved in, there's other things, other services that you want to see, you want us to bring other people online, I'm going to ask you, call the wellness liaison, that's Amanda Logan, reach out to her. We'll be happy to host, to accommodate those needs however you see fit, but those are the opportunities here at JKV right now. Occupancy. Independent living, 79%, which between, as you know, between what's occupied and sold, that is what we do is we have a 10%, we're waiting for somebody to move in, is 82%. Cottages are at 85% with 10 deposits. Apartments, 57. You're forcing me to do something big in apartments with 1 additional deposit. Villas are very, very popular, 70 out of 74 with 73 reserved. Valencia Landing, 43 out of 68. We have 3 additional deposits. Oakview Suites, 41 out of 49, and we do have 5 planned admissions. Can you guess where 4 of those planned admissions are coming from? Coming from in-house, coming from the village. People who really honestly need to change level of care and have admitted to it and are going to get better services and get the care that they need. That is our main focus. We just want to make sure you get the care that you need. Just because, I'm going to go back, just because you've fallen once doesn't mean you go to Majestic Oaks. It means we put a plan and we implement and you get stronger. If you've ever had a hip surgery or if you've had knee surgery, you understand how that helped, eventually it helped your ambulation get better. Our goal is to help you, to keep you as independent as possible, as long as possible. Sales and marketing, our year is over. We've had 46 move-ins. That's 3 more move-ins than we've had in 22. We have 7 scheduled move-ins for January. We're going to call her Mary S. She's our business development liaison. And Liz Woodford, I know Liz is in the back because I see her. Liz, you want to raise your hand? She is a retirement counselor. And there's Mary. Hey, I didn't see you. There's Mary and Liz. Okay. A sales boot camp is started. Tammy Ozu is the sales director. She is taking the sales counselors through sales boot camp. And our focus for Q1, that's quarter 1, is the apartments. And we want to make sure you know that we continue to offer a discount on new entrance fees for cottages and apartments. Marketing events. Apartment 1 showcases, well, I changed it. I called it the Parade of Apartments. So Tammy's probably cringing back there. That's January 24th. The chef presentation on February 9th. These are new marketing events for potential residents. Chef Raven is going to do, if I understand correctly, an appetizer and dessert menu, something fun. And it's the recipe for a happy retirement. It's the Life Care program. I know we've gone through the Life Care program in a coffee with you. Lucky to Live at John Knox is March 8th. It's a resident panel. I can tell you that potential residents love this because now they get to ask existing residents, hey, tell me what it's really like. Tell me what it's really like. And so we're thrilled about that. In spring into spring, that's what we refer to as a right-sizing event. Like many of you, when you came from a bigger home and now you're getting down into something small, can I really take that piece of furniture with me, or do I need to sell it, store it? What do I need to do with it? So we have a new mover that has joined our team, and that is March 21st. So that's important. When I moved from Illinois 20 years ago, I moved into a smaller home, and I had boxes everywhere, and I finally decided I need to start getting rid of some things. Campus services. The Bay Dining Room menu has been revised. That went effective January 16th. Want to point out the bistro is now open from noon to 7 p.m. Wednesday through Saturday. Noon to 7. Remember, it was like noon to 4:35. We went to 7. So please, it's a great opportunity if you want to use the bistro to use it. If we don't see that there's enough activity, we'll probably adjust the hours back the other way. Celebration dinner that was originally scheduled for January 9th is the 23rd at 4:30. Chef's cook-off event was last night. And a chili bar set for the 31st. Free entertainment, you can see the free entertainment on there. Why are we banging on free entertainment? What's so new about that? My previous life, we did a lot of free entertainment. We brought in entertainment on campus for residents to enjoy. I got to tell you that that entertainment was always well attended. We also do it because many times residents in apartments will say, hey, I can't go out on that day event, or I can't go out to do this, or I can't go out to do that. And we don't want that to be the case. We want them to be able to enjoy entertainment, so we bring that in. Nothing would please us more, and nothing would please entertainers more than at this entertainment, the place is packed. Instead of getting 40, 50, 90 residents, if we can get 150, 200 residents in the auditorium for the entertainment, it makes it easier for the entertainers to come back and say, hey, this is a place where I want to come because the events are always well attended. The residents are there and they enjoy it. So, will I continue to bang on this? Yes. So, we're doing it to benefit yourselves, not to just put a feather in our cap, but to kind of answer some of the questions that we've been asked is, how come I live in the apartments? Doesn't seem like I have any entertainment at all. And that's not necessarily true. And for those of you who've been waiting, and I know some have been waiting, we have staffed the Gatehouse 3, we call Gatehouse 3 Holly Branch. Right now we're looking at doing that about 12 hours out of the day. If we need to extend those hours, we'll look at doing that. We believe 12 hours will be suffice. So all our gatehouses will be staffed during the day and are monitored. We've been through this, don't need to go through this again, but here's some information from Centers for Medicare and Medicaid. We just talked about that, that's certification. You'll notice that the overall inspection for Majestic Oaks is 5-star, health inspections 5-star, staffing 5-star, quality measures is 3 stars. So we have a couple of things that we need to work on. And then you'll notice the star ratings for Agency for Healthcare Administration, that is essentially Florida. And you'll notice administration is 4. Administration is 4 is because anytime you have turnover in administration, you automatically lose a star. So if we were to turn over that position again, we'd probably lose a star and go to 4. But eventually, as there gets more longevity in that position, that too will move to a 5-star. So those are the inspection components that you'll see. The ones that you should, and I would ask you to pay close attention to, is the quality of life and quality of care and overall inspection. So the 3 on your screen, the 3 on the lower half on the left-hand side. And obviously, Medicare, Medicaid, that is the 5-star program, the rating, nursing home rating program for Medicare and Medicaid services. Majestic Oaks, they're preparing for their annual survey. Nurses have completed their competency training. We're working on the project at Majestic Oaks, so we've submitted our letter to ACA for it's actually renovation remodeling project. Vertically integrating Part B suppliers. We've looked at some opportunities where we can have residents that need a little bit heavier care and can optimize using Part B instead of absorbing those costs themselves. So we're implementing that, and we constantly evaluate, are we doing the best thing we possibly can for this particular area? And so we're doing that. We continue to pursue an inpatient hospice unit. We're kind of still on the fence. We have a meeting on Friday in regards to that. And then Michael and his team are implementing a virtual dementia tour for memory care. What is that? Old school, and the nurses will understand this, old school, what they did is to kind of give you a perspective of an older adult. They would sit you in a wheelchair and they would kind of tie you down. Then they'd put headphones over your head so you couldn't hear anything. They put goggles over your eyes so you lose perspective. And so when you're caring for somebody like that, what is the best way in which to care for them? Go slow. Try to talk to them so you can hear, make sure they try to understand. So it helps change that perspective for staff, so staff have, quite honestly, what we call sensitivity to the person that you're taking care of. And that's the way they used to do it in old school. Now they do it virtually, so you can learn the life of a memory person or somebody else who has some other impairments. So we try to train that sensitivity to a number of people instead of everybody taking their turn. Personally, I like the everybody taking their turn, but that's just me. Oakview Suites, as you already know, we have an administrator, and Amanda Tucker, and a care coordinator, Lindsay Curtis. If you didn't know, they had a deficiency-free survey at the end of December, both for the assisted living facility and ECC. ECC is extended congregate care. You can have a little bit heavier care in assisted living, and that is a portion that they come on a quarterly basis to check. You'll see the census is increased at Oakview Suites. There is a waiting list for one-bedroom apartments. We're implementing a WanderGuard system. That is because what we're doing is we're trying to create an opportunity for residents with memory issues to live in assisted living. And the WanderGuard system allows them to move about the floor and not put themselves in danger by an elopement. And you all know what happened a couple of years ago from Certus, where they had a resident get out of the building and tried to cross the road in the middle of the night and got hit by a car. That is the dangers of having a memory unit and being careful. So as we go through, there will be more diligence. If you're a visitor in assisted living, we'll ask you to be more vigilant in regards to the things that you're doing. Don't let somebody out. If you don't know who they are, they might be able to talk to you and say, no, I live over on such and such. If you're not absolutely positive, you don't let them out. You don't, and I don't mean it to sound negative, but you're not certain where that person might walk off to. So we're very, very careful about that, and we're being diligent. We're doing one floor at a time versus doing the whole assisted living. And then we were on a very, very short timetable in which to do Alzheimer's disease and related disorders training. They were late getting that out, and we had a requirement, and we are compliant with 100% of our staff. Just as, and I'm not going to go through this slide, you can go through this slide. We've been through this slide, I think, 3 dozen times. But just as you think that I can take this off my presentation, I have somebody come to my office and say, Joe, I had that little screen pop up on my computer, and I called them. And what did they tell them? Apparently they must have been busy, because they said, hey, we can't help you right now. Can we call you back tomorrow? In the meantime, the resident thought about it and came to administration. And of course, their parting words were, and they said, can we call you back tomorrow? Were what? Don't tell anybody. Now, if somebody says, don't tell anybody, come to administration and tell me. In this particular case, this turned out very, very well. In this particular case, I hooked the resident up with Scott Sanders. Scott went, took care of their computer, went through their computer, made sure they deleted whatever program that they had on there. It didn't look like they transmitted any information, and took care of the program, took care of the problem. So again, now probably for another 3 months, I'll have this same thing on here, and it's not just popping it up. And this person had Norton antivirus on their computer. So please, 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 please. It's the same thing with text messages. We're coming into the political season, and the candidates push stuff out there. Don't think the hackers don't know it. And they figure out what your cell phone number is, and all they need for you to do is click on a couple of things, and they have access. But again, still, credit cards, bank statements, make sure you review those monthly, at least monthly, if not more frequently. Illness protocol, wash your hands. If you're not feeling well, stay home. If you're not feeling well, stay home. If you're not feeling well, stay home. So if you're not feeling well, what are you going to do? Thank you. Flu season is October to May. We're in the height of flu season. Coronavirus has not gone away. And in fact, we see it if you have traveled, it's almost universal. I can't think I've heard anybody who hasn't traveled that hasn't caught the virus again. It's almost universal. If you're traveling, you're probably going to catch it. And it's still no fun, I'm told. And safety protocol, we have done a number of things. I'd love to share those with you to beef up our security and to increase security around the village. You may have seen some things, you may not have. I'd love to share them with you, but I'm not going to, because we push this presentation out to YouTube, and people on YouTube will listen, and if I share it with them, then they know a way around it. But we will continue to work on a number of those things as we go through. But as you can do, lock your door if you're leaving, lock your door if you're at home. Don't leave your keys within reach of somebody coming in. If you don't know who it is, don't let them in. Period, end of story. All right, fun stuff. Ad valorem. Y'all ready for this? I hope so, because I'm not. All right. The Florida Statute 196, 1975 is where ad valorem is covered. I was going to print it off, but it turns out it's 26 pages long. If you want it, type into your Google search engine or whatever search engine you're in, Florida Statute 196, 1975. The exemption is for property used by not-for-profits for homes for the aged. So, as I'm going to jump down here, Majestic Oaks meets the qualification, we're exempt. Assisted living meets the qualification, we're exempt. Now it takes us to independent living. Essentially, if 25% or more of our residents are considered low income, we would be exempt from taxes on our common areas. We have a lot of common areas. Hallways, Barker Center, Clubhouse, we would be exempt from paying taxes. Now, in a minute, you're going to see what those taxes are. You must be a charitable exempt organization and 501c3, and 75% or more of your occupants must be over the age of 62. Well, our admission criteria is 65 or older, so we're good. Must be a resident on January 1st for the year that you're claiming the exemption, and you must have a permanent resident. Your residence must be permanent. So, if you're a permanent resident here, if you have a permanent resident somewhere else, that causes that, and we'll get there in a second. These limitations, cut that out. The not available isn't. Vicki got these late last night, so I was able to put the numbers in today. These are current numbers for 2024, and I will change this slide. For a single person to be exempt, you would have income of $40,469 or less. You'd have to be less than that number. Couples are $45,433 or less. For us to be exempt, again, 25% of our residential units, 25% of our residents must be under those numbers. And then we're 100% exempt on our common areas. Good deal, wouldn't it? You know what we paid in real estate taxes this year? $856,000. $856,000. We'll get there. All income formed is from any source derived, whether actual or owned or received by, or not received by, but available to any person or couple. This is the gross income, earned income, investments, gains from dealings with property interest, rents, royalties, dividends, annuities, income from retirement plans, pensions, trusts, estates, inheritances, direct and indirect gifts. Totally and permanently disabled person, currently certified by 2 physicians in the state who are professionally unrelated and verified you're totally and permanently disabled. And this is the form that you'll eventually fill out. I split it into 2. And these are the questions that come right off the form. I put the questions before the form so you can actually see them. Did you live in the unit on January 1st of the tax year you're considered your permanent home? Yes or no? Were you at least 62 years of old on January 1st? Are you totally or permanently disabled? And then if yes, are you a veteran? Has the resident of the unit claimed a homestead exemption on another property for the current year? So if you have another home and you took homestead exemption, you cannot take the homestead exemption here. Now, why is that important? We're different than many communities because we don't bill you separately for real estate taxes. We build real estate taxes into your monthly service fee. I'll repeat that. We build real estate taxes in your monthly service fee. Real estate taxes are getting to be one of those expenses where even communities like ourselves that normally put it into the monthly service fee are deciding to carve it out because it is such a big chunk. And then you would pay real estate taxes, ad valorem taxes, on your particular unit based upon its size. More specifically, based upon the square footage of your unit. And so that $856,000 gets spread out among all the residents with the exception of the residents who are exempt. So if you're low income, you qualify under low income, $40,469, or a couple of $45,433, you would not get a tax bill. Does that make sense? That's not the way we do it. We put it into our monthly service fee. So we look at it as everybody's already kind of paid their fair share. And do you wish to claim low income exemption under the Florida statute? So here's the form. It's name, building, spouse, apartment number, the same questions that I just asked you, one for the resident, one for the spouse. Okay? I'm sharing this because this is part A, and then that's part B. If you fall under the $40,469 for single or $45,433 for married, you have to complete part B if you're going to be considered exempt. Again, why would we want that? One, if 25% of our residents qualify, then we're exempt from taxes on our common areas. Or the other part of that is if we were to charge you, you would be exempt from paying taxes, the ad valorem taxes. And this goes through all the things that I just shared with you in regards to income. And you're not going to make me do it again, right? All right, thanks, I appreciate that. But then you have to sign it, and it has to be notarized. Some counties now make you, I can tell you a county that I came from, now make you provide proof that you qualify. So W-2, Social Security, tax statements, whatever the case may be. So in the state of Florida, they've really started cracking down on this, and you have to provide proof that you qualify. Historically, you didn't. If you claimed and you had it notarized, they were good, and they spot checked some. Now, they're coming back and they're making sure that you have to provide evidence to this, and we would have to submit that. Fair enough? All right. Now, I have these on here because I'm going to take you back to our residency contract. Because we talked before that essentially we are governed by Chapter 651, Office of Insurance Regulation in the state of Florida. Essentially, we're an insurance product. You come in, you sign a contract, you pay an entrance fee, pay your monthly service fee. We guarantee we're going to take care of you as long as your ability, for the rest of your remainder of your life, as long as your ability to pay is not impaired due to any fault of your own. As long as your ability to pay is not impaired due to any fault of your own. What would be a fault of your own? check our residency contract. You decided to give your money away. You decided to give it to charity, you decided to give it to your kids, you decided to give it to everybody else, and now that has impaired your ability to go ahead and pay your monthly service fee. The other one is Medicare coverage. We ask to ensure you that you have Medicare coverage or some type of Medicare coverage. So should you have a catastrophic event, you have insurance to pay for that. Now I heard somebody went and had, I believe it was, somebody was going in for surgery, and the bill for surgery under Medicare was going to be $85,000. $85,000. And I can tell you, I deal with health insurance questions every single day from our own insurance carrier, because what's happening is hospitals are deciding that they want to charge more, and they're going to do. And they don't care what Medicare approves or doesn't approve. They want sometimes 34 times the amount of what Medicare would normally approve for health and for coverage for our health insurance, meaning paying the bill 34 times what they would normally pay. And that's crazy. And I deal with it every single day, every single day. So I bring up these two pieces of information. One, because if you don't believe me, go back and check your contract. It's in your contract. You're required to have some type of Medicare and or a supplement coverage should you have some type of health care need, and you need to go to Majestic Oaks. You can go under Medicare. Make sense? The other first part is part of our agreement is, and that's why you fill out the residency certification, we check to see if we match it up to last year. And yes, the answer is yes. We have seen people that have had a dramatic change in their assets from one year to the next. And when we ask them, oh, I didn't think that was going to be any problem. Guess what? It's a problem. It's a problem. So that's why we do it. The certification is required by the board of directors and John Knox, and then you will fill out these. But these are the two sections in your contract that cover that. Part of our agreement is that we'll make sure that you get coverage for the remainder of your life as long as your ability to pay is not impaired due to any fault of your own. Okay, I like this graph because it kind of shows. I came in 2015. In 2015, the real estate taxes at that particular time were exactly $351,000. 2023, what is that, 9 years later, inclusive from year to year, it is $856,000. So a $500,000 increase over that same time. Ouch. Okay? And you can see what years. Actually, 2021 did actually go down slightly. Not much. A few $100, I think. A few $1,000. I think about $2,000 is what it actually went down. So that is enormous for us. Now, 2015, we did add Holly Branch to that. And now we've added Valencia Landing to that. So you can see where we go with that. So that's why it's important to us. If we can meet that, any of those exemptions, we would certainly love to be able to do that. Questions that I might be able to answer?
With the $40,000 and $45,000 income, is that adjusted gross or just adding up all the money that comes in?
That is gross. If I remember correctly, that is just flat gross. It is income from any and all sources. It's not adjusted. Yeah, it's very difficult.
When do you anticipate that Martha will be able to accept the different kinds of insurances?
When, I'm going to repeat the question so everybody, make sure everybody heard that. When would we anticipate that Martha would be able to accept a lot of different other types of insurances? Gosh, I would like to say no less than 45 days. And because we're trying to push, we've applied, we're trying to push it through, and we're trying to get it done. Sometimes it's not always dependent upon us. It depends on whoever on the other side decides they want to look at it and wants to approve it. But I can guarantee you, as soon as, we'll let you know.
I want to address a safety issue that I've been trying for 2 months to get resolved. The elevators in the independent section of the apartments are having major problems. They are not leveling appropriately. And even though I'm pretty capable and I'm aware of the problem, it's still not being corrected. I made a suggestion that there be the yellow hash mark tape put on the elevator side of the elevator so that people be more aware of when they enter the elevator that they don't just charge ahead, that they either take a step up or a step down. And I'm more concerned about people, with walkers, because a lot of times when they're looking at a walker, they don't look ahead enough of time and see that there's adjustment that need to be made. And one of my friends who's in her late 90s, she was walking with a walker, and she had some soup and some other things on the place where she normally sits, and she tried to get on the elevator, and the soup went everywhere, and luckily the lid stayed on. But my concern is people falling. And we've been, there are 2 of us that made a mention on the portal. We did not get any feedback on that. I've turned in photos to Mark Otto, and so far, there's still discrepancies.
Okay, there's a lot there, but I will answer that question this particular way. This is the first I've heard about it. Joyce already made a note for me, and we will get a response. We'll go and look at the elevators. I'll personally go and look at the elevators this week and find out what elevators they are. We'll test them all and find them all and see if he's made adjustments or what he needs to do to be able to correct the problem.
I do about a week nightly survey, and no elevator is exempt. The one that's the worst is the one in Audubon near the lobby. But last night, it was the one near the mailboxes in Audubon, and a few days ago, it was the one in Citrus near the mailboxes.
Okay. All right. Couple in the back. Oh, no, you can't give the mic to her. Mm-mm.
This is a happy note. I wanted to thank you for approving the proposal for this year's food drive for the school. It will be in September.
Very good. What she's referring to is we do, Ms. Sheffield helps run a Orange City Elementary food drive for the for the students and the families for Orange City Elementary. She takes that as kind of her little pet project, and that project has been approved. So thank you for all you do in making that happen.
My apologies, this is a remedial question, but can you tell me why it is that Vespers cannot be shown on Spectrum?
Vespers can't be shown on Spectrum because we don't use Spectrum anymore in-house.
Okay, is there any way it could maybe be shown on YouTube, like some of the other programs are?
We could certainly look into that, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an update on getting a new landline phone system that works?
The landline phone system, what we're going to do is, I meant to throw that in here, we're recommending 3 companies, and I know that Mark has now put a fourth or a fifth in there. For landlines, we're recommending that the problem isn't always with Centrix, isn't always the internet. I mean always the internet. A lot of times the phone is the phone system, and it's their switch station that they use. And I'm calling it a switch station. It may not be exactly that. The problem is equipment on their side and their ability to handle calls. So we're recommending that people try Vonage. Vonage has got a well-established record and has done very, very well. I've talked to a number of people that use it. I spoke to somebody, another one is Magic Jack. Somebody was telling me that they used Magic Jack years and years ago. It is, at that particular time, it was $9 a year. Now it's $43 a year for Magic Jack. OMA, OOMA, that too is very similar to Vonage. And then the other one is Axe Voice, AXVOICE. Those are, what they do is they use voice over internet protocols. So they don't use Centric's equipment in the sense of it has to go through their switch station and whatever the case may be. Why does the problem exist? And we've been through this. This is what was shared with me. During the pandemic, as we were putting in our infrastructure to make this work, previous administration at Centric's decided to change the equipment that they used and went to inferior type of equipment. And now it's the equipment they have is not reliable. They've had to change, at great expense to them, which who really cares. They've had to change out a lot of their equipment to get the voice to get our landlines to work. They're still not working with all the things that they have done. And I have sent more than my fair share of nastygrams, and I continue to send more than my fair share of nastygrams. And as I have Scott and Mark and Bill and a number of other people working on this, while I'm not, Mark will talk on Monday. We're going to reach out to 9, 12 different people and ask them to pilot Vonage, OMA, Axe Voice, Magic Jack. And what we will do is we'll provide a credit on your bill to do that, a $10 credit, because all these you can do for like $9.99 a month. We'll provide a credit on your bill for this, and we're going to ask you to pilot. And then we're just going to come back in 60, 90 days and find out which one is best. If you want to jump quicker, those are the ones that we would recommend. They're the ones in the market that are a little bit. You can also, if you want to see if you can find your own, type in voice over internet protocol telephone service in a Google search engine, Bing, Edge, whatever you happen to use, and see what comes up. Now, we haven't vetted any of these companies, is why we're trying to find out which one of these might do well. Vonage has been in business for a number of years and has a good reputation and gets very, very good feedback. The other ones, I'm not so sure of, but the last one, Magic Jack, it seems like if I was to roll the dice, I would probably try to roll that one to see if I could make that one work. Some of them have equipment costs if you decide to do it, but many of these use voice over an internet protocol. What they do is they connect to Wi-Fi, and you can use either your computer or your cell phone. Now, in many areas, if you know the Wi-Fi code, you know that on your phone, almost all phones now, you can do what they refer to as wireless calling. Yes? Yes, wireless calling, meaning you're putting a call over the internet and you're not using a cellular signal to do so. That's what a wireless call, that's what that means. And I think it goes back a number of years with Apple. I think almost all Android cell phones have it now. I frequently will use that. How do I know the difference between the two? I check my bill. My daughter uses an excess of 50 gigabytes a month. 50 gigabytes per month. My wife, she's at 20 gigabytes per month. Myself, I'm at 0.23 gigabytes per month. Because I have mine set to use Wi-Fi calling. When I'm on my house, it goes over my Wi-Fi. Now, what's the problem with that? If I walk outside and walk out beyond the range of my Wi-Fi, it goes dead for a little while until it can hook to the cell signal. It transfers it to the cellular signal. But that's the difference. However that may work for you, while I wish I had a better solution with Centrix, I don't think they have any solution. And I know this goes over YouTube. I know other people are going to see this, but we have dealt with this far too long. And we want to find something that's actually going to work for us. And we believe this is a better alternative than using Centrix as your home landline. Okay? That said, thank you for your time. Have a good weekend, and we'll chat with you later.